Man, let me go seek what God told me to do. Like I always say, the person I wanted to be versus who God called me to be is two different people. And I had to choose. And it's still something that I'm learning. Who do God want me to be? It's something I always gotta ask God, what do you want me to do in this situation? But I love talking to people that's not well known, that's been through things. Cause I understand everybody's been through something, bro. Everybody. There's not a person on this planet that ain't been through nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a person. So I
From
understand that.
childbirth.
So for me, yeah, from childbirth, So I understand that, and I try to capture that their story and put it out into the world so somebody could gain some type of perspective.
Beautiful people out there in the world, whether you're seeing this on YouTube, IG, or whatever it may be. This is Jay Wando, host of The Dope Spot, DADOESPOT. And today, this evening, whenever you see this, we're just gonna get right into it. I'm your host, but I also have a guest with me, and we're gonna have a discussion of experience. Hopefully, for this man and everyone else that's on, it's a safe space where we aim to deliver messages of empowerment. Feel welcome here as we speak the universal language of love, and always, as always, we show gratitude. And before I go further, I wanted to give a special shout and to whoever's listening because I understand these. I said it before. These messages and everybody that's revealing themselves and everything they got going on. These therapeutic sessions they have, and it's like all over the place. So the fact that you made it here and that you decided to watch, I appreciate you. So never dismissing that. I never look at what I've done and say, oh, well, I'm supposed to have that. Oh, people, people follow thousands of people, and for you to even just give us a view, that's I appreciate that. However, I will say that it ain't it's on me, but I want more. Like I want to give y'all more of what I have going on, and part of that giving is sharing, and sharing not only myself and my story, but perspective from other people, because I draw a lot of inspiration from my guests. And this brother right here has as you may have seen on the internet, he's spoken with a large. I'll let him share, but he's spoken with a large group of people before. He's spoken in small groups. He's done comedy. Like he's just a Swiss Army knife almost. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that we connected, reached out to each other, I feel honored to be a part of his show, and put the link on or whatever to show you where we linked up before, and now he's on my platform. So Mr. Made Different, Mr. Frankie, thank you for coming on to the Dope Spot, and please introduce yourself, bro.
Man, first off, I just want to say thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah,
You one of my internet brothers. I like to call it internet brothers for sure. You one of the people that what I'm saying, we just clicked up on the internet and then we just locked in for and it's been a few, well, I don't know, probably a year or so.
it's
But
been a long
yeah,
time.
it's definitely some synergy between the two of us. Conversations that we have and everything, bro. So I surely appreciate you for having me on here. Um, uh, Myself, I'm from the island of St. Lucia. Been in America since 2008, October 2008 specifically, right before Obama became president. And yeah, it's been a journey, navigating through the American culture, uh, whether it's Black American culture, just culture in America, period. I think it's so diverse up here. Um, you know, Navigating through that and trying to strive to be the person that I envisioned myself to be when I first came up here. Got lost along the way, but I'm definitely trying to make it happen for sure. Yeah, so that's a little bit about myself. I don't like to talk about myself too much, but
But that's the point, man. We
yeah.
definitely give me a second. Let me check something. Okay, good. But that's the point. That's where we what you just said. I don't like to talk about myself. Like we sometimes get in such a doubt phase. Like maybe people don't want to hear my story. Maybe it's not, but I mean it's your story. So that's really the point of my podcast, at least. Like discussions of experiences, however you see it. I can
Yeah.
look at my upbringing and say, man, this was a horrible life. My kids got it way better than me. I can look at my cousins or my aunties or other relatives and say, man, they really didn't treat me well. In their mind, they were like, oh, he had it great. We
Yeah.
didn't have it great. So we're just looking at it from a perspective thing. And what I've been, I know you talked about a series earlier. You got a series with your mentor. My little series, I'll say little, but it's starting to become something, is a PR. I don't know if you done heard of a press run. So PR,
Yeah.
I wanted to do like all my episodes, try to lead with a PR. So today, my PR is a pathway to your reward. And I know I didn't really prepare you for this, but from when we spoke before, I know you can, like you said, the synergy is there, so I know we can pick up and keep it moving. But your pathway, when we think about, I just ask you, like when you hear the word pathway, what are some things that make like come to mind for you? And then I'll see if we can connect the dots.
Pathway, I think of journey, man. I think of, you know, the journey to get where I'm at right now. What it took,
Mm.
you know, the decisions, the doubt, the fear, the faith, all that, accumulating to the path, like path that you took to get where you at. So that's what I think of when I hear pathway.
I'm pretty much aligned. I know that the phrase or the cliche, I guess it's the phrase, uh, unbeaten path. I feel like I've taken that. I could have easily said, I'm just going to go to college or stay at home, work, and go through our life. But no, at 19, going on 20, I went into the military. I went into the Air Force. And it so happened to be recording on Veterans Day. So hopefully I can get this uploaded real quick. But
Yeah,
Veterans Day to me is showing people who volunteered their life or got drafted. Like, think about all the veterans that ever lived, or excuse that lived before, but the ones that still here. Many of them got drafted. Many of them was at home one day, maybe on their way to sports, through academics, whatever, going to college, and then they get a letter saying, okay, we need you to report at this time. So whatever path they were on, that's over with.
yeah,
At least for a year, two, four, however many. I mean, I run into retirees all the time here in San Antonio, and many of them was like, yeah, I signed for 4 years. I never thought I'd be 27 years later, taking care of my family, serving. I don't know if y'all know military rank, but I'm an E7, E9, O 04, major, colonel, whatever. So their path to their reward, is different than yours. Does that mean that they're lesser than you, that they're bigger than you or better than you? I don't think so. I just feel like
yeah,
we all have to reach a point where we are on the right path, on that path that we're supposed to be on, right or wrong. And that's where I feel like we do get our blessings. So,
yes,
and I
sir.
know it's more to your story, so I'm really waiting for you to, because I know you don't really do the whole guesting. You're more of a host. I can see that's more your lane. So I want to
I do a
hear. I
little
want to
bit of
hear.
both, man. I do a little bit of
Yeah.
both. I'm not
So I
scared to
think
answer questions. That's what you mean.
okay, for sure, for sure. I wanted to just know
Yeah,
because you talk about culture a lot, and being that I grew up in South Carolina, but I didn't live away from South Carolina until I joined the military. So whenever you, as an older person who lived in one culture to one extreme to the next, what are struggles and then the successes, the good things that you go through today?
I think one of the struggles I had when I first came up is just being Um, like I knew who I was, but I wasn't too confident in who I was in this new environment. You know what I mean? Like you come into
Yeah.
this new environment. I'm from the islands, like I said, so I come in. I moved to Monroe, Georgia. If anybody know where that is, and that's like at the time it was mostly white people around. All I had was my father and his wife at the time who was Jamaican, and my father, he been in the States for I think about since 1999. So he was there about 9 years. He used to live in Miami, and then he moved to Georgia. You know, but he lived in Miami. It was a little bit more diverse, but when we moved to Georgia, it was definitely just a lot of white people around, and you kind of just trying to find your place, trying to find your groove. Um, was insecure about my accent. You know what I mean? Trying to change my accent so people could hear what I was saying. Was soft spoken. You know, 6'3", soft spoken guy. They're like, why you? You know what I mean? So I wasn't very assertive because I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm very observant. I'm observing everything. I'm observing how people are moving, and I'm trying to, for lack of a better term, I'm trying to fit in. You know what I mean? I'm trying to fit into the program, to the dynamic that I just walked into. So yeah, that's what was just like a big struggle. But I think for me it's just knowing what I would accept versus what I wouldn't accept. That was a success for me. It's like, all right, I'm not going to do this, but I'll do these things. And then at some point in time, I lost that along the way. I started doing stuff that I said I would never do. You know what I mean? Things that principles that I had. I guess I got more comfortable in certain environments as time went by, and you know, at the time, I don't think I was call it fitting in. I just think I was just, what's the
Probably
word?
just adjusting to
Yeah, I guess
just
you c
acclimating.
yeah, yeah, getting acclimated and just, doing things that you said, "Man, I ain't gonna never do that. I'll never," so
Yeah.
you just
Oh
kinda
yeah. Got
jumping into
plenty
the
of stories about
program.
that for sure.
Yeah, so
Um,
that was mostly it for me, man. Big success, I would say, is just finding my way back to myself, and that took a lot of work. That took a lot of courage to just kind of, it's a lonely road to walk by yourself, and a lot of people are not. They want the crowd around them. They want people to be like, man, that's my brother, that's my day one or whatever the case is. They want that. So I think for me it was just to be like, you know what, I need to figure out who I am and set myself apart. And yeah, it took some courage on my end, but I think that's the biggest success for me thus far.
as I've mentioned, being uh, a military member and now being on the outside of the military, you're no longer feeling the protection that you once did. And I can just speak for myself, and I'm pretty sure other veterans feel this way. When you are in your structure, you know where you have to be, you know who you have to listen to, you know a chain of command is what it is.
Yeah,
You don't even think about the highest person in command though. You're not saying, oh, if I get in trouble, I'm going to get sent to the commander of the base. You don't think about that guy or that woman. You're thinking about your supervision. You're
yeah,
thinking like your direct supervision. And even closer to that, if you're, say, you're just a lower in E4, so you're not an NCO yet, you're not a non-commissioned officer. You're thinking about, okay, how am I going to get taken by that person? Because they're really supposed to be that person for you to be like, hey, you coming in late or whatever before it even gets to your supervisor. So when it comes to when you move places, a lot of times you may be, and this for myself, like I sometimes look for people to hold me accountable. That's like you talk about fitting in. That was my thing at one point. Like I'll do something and I kind of look around like, nobody say nothing yet. All right, well maybe do something else. And you constantly battling this person that don't even exist. And instead of just doing what you're supposed to do and not staying out late, not intaking certain vices you have, and doing the right thing, you would rather hang out with people who don't have who aren't on the same path as you are. You won't look for those people. So you know, thank you for the intro earlier when you mentioned about being an internet brother. This is not something that's by mistake. This is by design. We
yeah,
didn't
for
just
sure.
run into each other. I didn't just start a podcast page and you just happened to pop on it up on there. Like you had already had your stuff established. I had my stuff established in various places before, and even with my just talk about social media. I've had other pages before. I just deleted them because I honestly, if I think about it now, I would go back like, man, I missed those pictures, but I didn't miss that person. I didn't like
mm,
how I presented myself because it really wasn't me. That was who I was trying to persuade people to think I was, and convince myself like, okay, this is no, this is okay,
yeah,
for
yeah,
this time. But once I got out, I'm like, I gotta be who I am. But who is that person? And here I am.
mm,
I don't know, about 10 years removed from active duty, and I'm just like really just getting there. But I'm okay
yeah,
with it. I enjoyed the lessons learned, the people I've met along the way. So I say to because I like to give a little push, a little nudge to of encouragement, not necessarily advice, but if you're a person who's doubting yourself, or in a disbelief of what you can be at this point, where you feel like you may not be able to just turn it around and say, well, I'm already deep into this business mindset, so I gotta be a whatever, or I'm in this at this job, I gotta stay here because if I stay 5 years, then I can get my certificate, I can get this promotion. Instead of being doing, taking the path that you're supposed to be on, you're just settling basically. And I don't want to keep settling into a person that I can't go to sleep, being.
mm.
So
Yeah,
that's
you
all I'm
said
saying.
some deep in that because I think we get so locked in on, who we are, what we doing, and sometimes those things are just for a season, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I coulda got stuck in the phase of, "Man, I'm from St. Lucia, like, what am I doing in America?" And try to beat the St. Lucian thing over everybody's head, like, I'm proud of where I'm from. Like, don't get it confused. It's more so just adapting. Like, I've always been able to adapt in whatever environment because things in life don't always stay the same. You know what I'm saying? Like
Ever changing.
I remember growing up in a two-parent household, then it became a one-parent household. Then it became a moving with my grandma, you know what I'm saying? And spending a majority of that time and my father moving to America and not seeing it. Like so I've had to adapt early on at early stages and all it taught me was you can't take every moment like it's gonna last forever. My grandma always used to say, nothing under the sun lasts forever. She always used to say that. She used to be
Wisdom.
dropping gems, but yeah, it's one of them things where it's like, oh, okay, like, and when I look back on my life, she's right. Nothing under the sun lasts forever. So, you know, instead of beating yourself down or getting down on yourself, like, oh, this thing changed, or I lost this job, or I lost this relationship, it's like, man, cry over it and keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? But I think when people don't let it go, when they don't cry, I look at crying as letting something go. You letting that out of your system. Once you do that, it's easier to move forward. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was always that. Like, yeah, I miss my mom back in St. Lucia. It hurt. I remember crying at the airport, like saying goodbye to her. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? I remember those moments, but I couldn't stay in that moment. I had to move forward. I'm in a new place. I can't, there's nobody around to comfort me, on that level. Like nobody really understood. I'm around all these white people, they don't understand. They're like, "Why you come up here? What you doing in America? You from this beautiful island of St. Louis?" I'm here for opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I came here for. And I think once you transition it into one space from the other space, it's like you have to look at it from like, what are my goals? What am I coming here for? What am I doing? Okay, I lost my job. What's the next step? Oh, maybe go to school or maybe get this degree that's totally different from what I used to do before. You know what I mean? Like, I don't come from a background of talking on, stages and none of that. I don't come from that background. It didn't make me less, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? It didn't make me less
As far as
credible.
like prepared. Oh, okay, credible. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make me less credible just because I don't have the background in it. It's like, nah, I'm gonna do the work so I can get the background. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I come from fixing cars and fixing houses and stuff. I'm good with my hands. That's what I've been doing most of my life. But it didn't take away the credibility for me to be jumping on stage and share my experience. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody that's done it at some point in time, they had no credibility. So, whatever you chase in life, there's somebody that didn't have the credibility before, and they took the opportunity and be like, you know what, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna jump over here. But I think when people lose, a job, or they, look at a lot of athletes when they don't have the sport no more, they go into this deep depression. And I'm not saying that's not normal. It is normal for you to be like, man, what do I do now? Try to find yourself, try to figure it out. But I think once you stay there, and once you like, when something didn't work out the way you thought it was gonna work out, and now you depressed, now suicidal, and now there's more to it. You know what I'm saying? That was just for a season. Now you transition into something else. At one point I wasn't a father. Now I'm a father. I can't look back and be like, man, I remember the days I wasn't a father, man. I used to be doing
Nah,
this, I used to
we
be
can
doing that.
all day long, bro. All day.
Yeah, that you can do that all day. So I think it's just being able to be like, okay, I'm a father now. How do I adjust? How do I make the necessary adjustments to make sure that I'm present as a father, but still showing up for myself? You know what I mean? So it's just about life is just about adjustments, man, and adaptability.
Frankie, yes, man. Yes, man. Yes, man. You really like put some things in perspective to me. Like that really just helped me out because I'm in a constant state of transition. I've run down my origin story several times, but just in the recent years, this is year two in San Antonio after living in England for 3 years, and before that, living in Japan for 3 years. So I'm not
Yeah,
only adjusted in location, it's cultural, complete
yeah,
different. These aren't, Japan was not only they're not even white people, like they're fair skinned people, but they're not even. And when I was in Okinawa, so they were Okinawans. Okinawans. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but they're not. They don't even consider themselves Japanese. So
yeah,
that's almost like people say, "Oh, black people." I got a Black History in the Making sweater. Shout out to my boy Said, but they're not. Some people say, "Well, I'm not black. I'm Jamaican. I'm Haitian." I'm not
yeah,
American. I'm not African American. I'm a Creole. Like, and I'm from a different. You go to fast forward to England. There's so many black people there, and I would get looked at weird. For one, driving a Lincoln, where in a
mm,
place where they don't make. Like, if I had a Range Rover, I'd fit right in. 'Cause Range
yeah,
Rovers were in abundance there, and what else they had? A lot of Teslas. Um, And of course, they had a lot of the imported, but a Lincoln was very rare. It was very rare to see a Lincoln anywhere. I think we had one of the only ones. So pulling up, my Lincoln, everybody thought I had money. I'm like, nah, this it comes with a car payment. This comes with a big car payment that it's different, and it wasn't easy to pay because the currency was different. We
yeah,
paying in pounds, so every dollar you spend is really like a dollar 50, $2 in their money. So you paying rent and it's $2,200. I mean pounds. It's like $2,800, and they're paying the military in dollars, not pounds.
yeah, yeah,
So we probably lost 30 to 40 grand just in rent and moving costs. But everybody sees England. Oh my gosh, you're in London and you're traveling to Greece and this is
yeah,
amazing. Like, yeah, but it's expensive. It's stressful. I'm having to work
yeah.
double time. And like you said, I got two daughters at the time, and then my son comes on Easter. We found out this man was coming on Easter Day. The
Wow.
day of like the resurrection type of thing. Here we get the stick. We get the pregnancy stick. Here, now
Yeah,
he's three, you know what I mean? But like at that moment, like I'm like, I don't know how we gonna do this.
yeah,
But God said, you know what? I put you in this position. You put yourself in position to make the baby. I'm gonna make sure you can take care of it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah.
don't
That's a fact.
don't worry about it. You're gonna be all right.
Yeah. And all
Yeah.
these
So
all these are valid questions, man. All these are valid questions. But like, how am I gonna get through this? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? All these are valid questions, but I never look at it like you know, the end all be all, And everything people might see from the outside looking in, they might be like, oh man, you doing this, you might be doing that, you in England, man. You a part of that is right. Part of that is beautiful out here,
sure.
but it's not the whole thing. I try to look at the whole thing. not just a piece of it. And when
Hmm.
people comment or when people compliment you or discredit you or whatever, it's a piece of it. It's like, yeah, part of what you're saying might be true, but it's not the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I take it on the chin. That's why when people compliment me, I say all grace is up to God because it's like, He gave me the boldness to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I had to be obedient and say yes, but He gave me that boldness from a child. Like, I was always
Right.
bold enough to walk in a room and be myself, and the confidence wasn't always there, but it's something I had to work through and, you know, just just doing it over and over and putting myself in different environments over and over again made me be comfortable with being myself in whatever environment you put me in. So that's it.
Even when you said about like the persistence, that's what that sounds like. You can persistently be doing, committing a sin till it becomes
Yeah,
an addiction, till it becomes something that's a part of you. I remember, and I like to talk about these not necessarily struggle stories, but like I think a lot of people thought I grew up like in a good state. Like I did a good job covering up for my family. I say that even today, I do a great job, like not discrediting them. Like they had it hard. They only issue I have is y'all still in the struggle. You know what I mean? And that's not like I'm not struggling, but I'm not struggling in that way. I'm
yeah,
not at a point where I can't get something because I don't want to do it. I may not be able to obtain something because I haven't done enough. Like you were just saying, there's no point in me trying to be like, uh, Good Morning America. You should have this Dope Spot podcast as a feature, and I got 70 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be
yeah,
like, maybe you are saying something, but come back like you told me your story. Come back when you got like 1,000 subscribers at least.
yeah,
And that's fine. We got to be okay with that. But back to the family dynamic, we covered up a lot of things growing up, and so I think, I mean, everything from abuse to just a lack, and I think I talked about that on your episode. Just lack of things, to the point where people are still and generationally are going to suffer.
yeah,
God forbid the day you know, one of my family members, I'm not gonna say who, but once that day comes and God, they go to glory, I'm just thinking about so many people that are going to be affected by that loss. And there's no funds, there's no land or property. You heavily depend on this person or these people to be something. And and it's like, what was all this praying about? What was all these going to church? What was all this hard work? What was it for?
yeah,
And when I leave a room, like you said about being in rooms, I want to be an impact to where people take something from that day, something I said. They may write it down, or just my presence alone, because that's not just me. That's me showing you God got me here. He took me around all these places so I could have these stories, so I could have these experiences and say the reward is Him. So talk about the pathway to the reward. It's Him. And it's not necessarily, just heaven. Like you said, it's not just one thing. It's not just heaven. It's the people that see you, that walk up to you later and say, "Man, are you the guy that, man, I remember when I follow you because I still follow you because, I became a part of your whatever because it's people, for myself recently, man, you've been an inspiration over the years." And I don't think about it like that. I'm just showing you that, look, I haven't forgotten about y'all for one. This is why I post things, this is why I show you. And for two, I know I was, like you said, being quiet and being a mild mannered person. But I got a personality too. I can be funny. I can be out in public. I used to mumble all the time because I was unsure about how I sounded. But I can talk. I can speak up. I was in the military. I can give commands. But it's just how I go about it. And I think
yeah,
for you, being that you are made different, like you said, 6'3", mild mannered, maybe not speaking up, but you have so much to offer. And I'm thankful to be a part of where you are now because I already know within the next, I don't know what it's gonna take. We gonna be somewhere together on some Jada Kiss and Styles P type of thing. Like I just feel that. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like
Yeah.
the energy we bring, the wisdom, the fact that we can reach out to people who have bigger platforms, larger platforms. They're not on our space in our spaces to push us down. They're like, hey, come up here with us. You know, come into my world. Let me show you, you know, what's going on. And it's not people trust us too. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
You recording? I'm recording this right now. You're not thinking like, oh, Jay Rondo gonna put this up on some blog or something and have me looking crazy. I would never do that. And
Yeah.
I feel the same about you. So all that to say, I love that we are both able to, as black men, you know, as fathers, as husbands, as people who have been traveling around the world, we have the ability. God gave us the opportunity to be able to share because a lot of people didn't make it to this point. This point.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people, for me, it's you spoke on family and still being in situations. I think people need to see the light in themselves first. That's like the first step is to be able to see the light in yourself as dim as it might be. I always seen the light in myself. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
always seen it. I always knew it was there. I try not to. I think for me, I was trying to make people feel more comfortable. You know, and not shine as bright. Um, but I'm not in that space no more. It's I'm humble. Don't get it wrong. I'm humble, but it's like it's a balance between humble, confident, and trying to just use it in the right space when it's necessary. I'm not gonna be super cocky or super, egotistical everywhere. Like that won't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that with my kids. Not gonna be that way with my wife. My wife always be like, "You need to show more of your personality," because I be joking a lot. But I'm like, the internet might not be able to take some of these jokes that I come out
Yeah.
with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how the internet is. Like, a lot of the stuff I say to her, it's intimate settings. It's just between me and her, and I
Just no
might
doubt.
joke
Yeah.
on certain things, and will it come across a certain way? Of course, like, but for me, it's like that they'll gradually get that. I have to work to that. For me, I'm trying to
Mm,
portray a certain level of like, nah, we gotta respect this dude. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta respect and listen to what he's saying first. If I come in just joking, you're not really gonna take me serious. You might be thinking, oh, you joking all the time. Nah, I need y'all to take what I'm saying serious. I need y'all to take these interviews I'm doing serious,
mm,
and
mm,
see the personality within that. Eventually they're gonna see that. But and for myself too, I have to get more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't have a background in this thing. So for me, it's working out, okay, what's my comfort level of showing my fullness? Or, I'm goofy with my kids. You know what I mean? Like I play with them, I make all type of weird voices and all these different things. That's what they bring out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're on the internet doing this, it's like you trying to portray a certain way to the people. You know what I'm saying? Like versus you getting that energy and then just reacting. With my kids, I'm just getting their energy and I'm reacting. With my wife, I'm getting her energy, reacting. With my friends, getting their energy, reacting. And it's not showing up like people like to be like, "Are you showing up fake?" Or you showing? Nah, it's not that. It's just this is what they bring out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I learn myself by the people I meet. I learn more about me by the people I meet. I learn you know, what I'm gonna do. If I'm around a bunch of people that smoke, I might pick up the blunt. You know what I'm saying? If I'm around a bunch of people that do certain things, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna really indulge in that. You learn yourself by the people you come in community with. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just part of that. Like, okay, like I'm gonna go for that. No, I'm not gonna go for that based on the people you're around. You know what I'm saying? But it's not about being fake. It's just about learning yourself. Like a lot of us, the journey is continuous. You know what I'm saying? When I met you, I'm like, okay, me learning you helped me learn me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
oh, okay, this is what this brother doing on the internet. Cool. Let me see how we can navigate together and make something happen. You know what I'm saying? If I felt like you did some fake stuff, it's like, oh, okay, like I ain't gonna go for that. Or
Yeah.
if
Me either. You fall
like
back
I'm
from
gonna
that.
go for that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you kind of fall back on from that person. So learning yourself is continuous. Everybody be like, man, I'm just this is who I am. This is nah, this is who you want. This is who you chose to be in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you could change that. You could change the trajectory of who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I've always learned to just keep evolving, keep changing, not just settling for the person I was 20 years ago. You know, what good is it that I could take this childlike behavior, childlike mindset that I had 20 years ago and bring it to being a father. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I could take a piece of that, be goofy with my kids, but then I need to be able to be stern with them at certain points. So I need to be able to be, you know, direct and lead them in a certain way. I can't be goofy with them 100 all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just learning yourself along the way. Yeah, take I'm gonna play with them a little bit. I'm gonna be stern a little bit over here, you know, and just keeping that balance and knowing when you need to use certain tools. Like it's just tools you pick up along the way, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I learned integrity by the people that I was doing business with. I learned how, oh, okay, this how you move, or somebody checking you and telling you, man, this ain't how you move, or and you not getting defensive about that. You just kind of be like, oh, you know what, my bad, bro. I ain't even realize I was doing that, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's not about getting defensive and then both of y'all getting more irate, and then the relationship severed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like having that adult conversation, man to man conversation, and just be like, "Oh, okay, bro. I see your point. That was not my intention, but I see your point. Next time I'll learn how to navigate." So you take that and you move on to the next relationship, friendship, whatever, and then you do better. Like, you can't take the
I
same
hope
thing
so.
over and over and carrying it to the next relationship or friendship. So
I hope so. And a few things to take away from what you were saying. Strategy. Strategy is major. You should be strategic.
yeah,
You shouldn't. Perfect example. I posted a picture of my daughter, and sometimes I'm not really focused on like if sometimes I want to just post things right there, like put
yeah,
it as a
same.
post, not a story, but like post it because I in that moment this is like one of the most beautiful things to me or the funniest things to me. But then I like get to the caption and I'm thinking about the hashtags and I'm just like, man, you know what? Let me just do this another day, or maybe the camera didn't show everything. So
Yeah,
example was my daughter. Now you can go and see it. My daughter said, "Let me take a picture with you." I knew I was going to post it because I'm happy. She was coming out of the her first cheer showcase, and my daughter's learned how to flip and backbend and stuff. Like in the past 6 months, she wasn't even she wasn't even doing a backbend. Now she can do like multiple backflips in like 3 to 4 or 6 months or so. So she went and did a thing where she lifted her leg up. I didn't even know she could do that, and she just held it, and I'm like, whoa. But in the picture, I was pointing. So I had to
yeah,
be aware that I didn't want to point at my daughter's leg being up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking about how people view that. Sure, I'm looking
yeah,
at it. I'm pointing as wow, this is a talent. Somebody else could
yeah.
be like, that
Proud.
looks weird, pointing at his daughter with her leg up in the air,
Yeah,
and she's 7. But like you said, the internet is the internet. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah,
I have to be strategic in that sense. Like you said, your image is based on what you post. Your image is based on what you don't post. If you're
yeah,
posting all this empowerment, encouragement, inspiration, and shout out words of encouragement. We'll tell about that later. Podcast. You posting all these things, and then on your next clip, it may not be yours, but you're reposting something that's like way off. You know what I mean? You're
yeah,
talking about marriage, but then you posting some lady on the beach with the cheeks out. It's like,
yeah,
what is he doing?
yeah,
Now you have to look at you different. Now I'm judging you differently. So whatever, it don't matter what you think or how good you present yourself to be. This is what you displayed. Like you said, you made a
yeah,
choice. And once you hit that upload, the internet is the internet. You don't know who's seen it. You can delete it right away. Somebody's seen it.
yeah,
Someone caught it, and it made you might have thought you would get no views, no likes, and you
yeah,
in the
man.
clear. But
Yeah,
and then let you get to that point 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months down the road, a year down the road. Now Frankie's on so and so's podcast or so and so's show, and it's like,
that come back to bite
let me show you who he really is. And I'm like,
you. Yeah,
I'd rather not live with that because I have, and I say all that because I have enough of those moments. periodically people, and this is what I, it's something nothing you can control. And I told my wife this, like, I don't want people posting up stuff of me like in the club and doing stupid stuff when I die. Like I want my kids to see that I was upstanding. Like I'd rather them post all this stuff. So this is what I do it for, in a sense. Like a big
Yeah.
part of this is for like recording, like a legacy thing for me. I want to have a diary, a journal of who I, what I am, my character, not the person that was, quote unquote, in the streets, because that was something I was trying to really get out of. Like although I was in it, I really didn't want to be there. And so I'm, again, like
Yeah.
I said, I'm making the choice not to be. So we definitely have to be strategic, man. And the second point you made, whenever you are displaying these things, on the flip side, you can't control it. You can't control what I say, what she said about it, because that's what you want ultimately. You want somebody to say something to you. You want someone to say something about it because that's how it gets out. But you also don't have to be the silly person that's like, oh, I'm just showing this to get a rise. And I feel like I do a good job. Like I might show my kids on the picture. I might show my students, where I'm in my classroom. But then I'm gonna show a podcast clip. And what gets the most attention? The students, my kids. The
Yeah.
clips don't get the attention that the entertainment
Exactly.
does. Like I don't even expect it. But I
Yeah.
try to make sure I throw that in there because this is why you're here. You're not
Yeah.
here to see what I do in the classroom. You're here to get this knowledge, and somebody's going to get it. It may not be that instant gratification that many of us expect. It may take months before somebody finally like a picture or put a comment up
Yeah.
because maybe they're waiting on someone else to comment. And I look at it like, well, I did the same thing. It took me at least 2 years to say, you know what, let me get this mic, and this is where it started. You know what I'm saying? It started with this
Yeah.
little handheld mic.
Yeah.
Let me get this mic and let me just start recording stuff. I could have done this months ago, months before, years before. I could have been, and I like to say this because I don't really feel this way, but I do. Like Keith Lee, for instance. Keith Lee doing food reviews. I was recording. I still got footage that I probably could have put up to become just in that space. Because again, I'm living in different continents. I could have been food reviewing. I actually was doing food reviews, but I didn't do it in that way. I didn't understand the internet at the time
Yeah.
to where I could just put something up and people start liking it or giving their spiel because I was still in my hometown mentality. Like only my people are looking at my Facebook page. That's about how I was
Mm.
thinking. I didn't
Yeah.
think that there was another world out there that wanted to see these things. And so again, I think about that, but at the same time, another but my wife is in the military. I'm not gonna be posting her up. She eating and we somewhere we're not really supposed to be. I mean, we were everywhere we're supposed to be, but she didn't want that. I remember asking her one time, "Hey, babe," she was like, "Get that camera out my face!" Like, I'm trying to, I'm trying to eat. You know what I'm saying? So all these things have to be considered ultimately
Yeah.
before we just think jumping out there. And if you're a person that you don't care, that's fine. Like I'll probably laugh at your stuff. You post videos or you post. You don't even have to post it. They ain't got to do with the internet. But if you want to be out there with your, who you are, you're quick tempered. You got to show people who you are everywhere you go. Man, you know what? More power to you. But stay away from
Yeah.
me. You know, I don't need that energy.
Yeah, I think you see both on the internet. You see people that's being strategic, and then you see people that just do kind of a little bit of whatever, and then they try to pull back. When they realize, man, I might be doing too much, or I might have said the wrong things. Then they try to pull back and be more reserved because they realize I was giving too much, and it's like a healthy balance of giving but not giving too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this is a side of me. I like encouraging people. So I'm gonna show you that side of me encouraging people. I'm a little funny, I'm a little goofy. I'm gonna show you that a little bit, but it's like
Right.
if I come on here and just give you my full personality, now you like, oh, we gotta cancel him or we gotta do this or we gotta do that. It's like, man, come on, I was just being me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Now we don't want
but
you.
it's
We're not
like
Mr. Mayday.
yeah,
We don't
it's
want that
like
for
we
you.
like this part of you, we don't like that
Mhm.
part of you. And it's like, but that's still me, you know what I'm saying? And now they want to cancel a whole person. For me, it's just, you know, finding a healthy balance. Like I'm gonna start with encouraging, and then I'm gonna give you a little more. I'm gonna give you a little more. It's like me just getting comfortable. It's kind of the same thing like when I came up here. I came up here just talking in my accent. Then figure I start saying certain words that I was hearing. Like I'm hearing
Right.
finna, I'm start using finna. I'm hearing certain things,
Fixing it.
southern
Fixing
dialect.
it.
I'm start using that. So
Yep.
it's just that, man. And neither one is wrong. It's just us trying to navigate, the space because this thing is new. The internet, is fairly new. We
It
just trying
is.
to navigate through it. So
Absolutely. I want to close out soon, man, because I know we can kind of go. Actually, we once we do get back to it, I want to stick with that topic because many of us are living in spaces where the internet is new to us. I didn't. The internet didn't find me. I found the internet in 2006. But even then,
yeah,
I was 20. So but kids nowadays are months old and they already know what the internet is. The
yeah.
way my
That's
3-year-old
all they
son can
know.
navigate, yeah, he can be like, I want to watch that on Netflix. I want to watch. I didn't have. I had a remote. We had 4 or 5 channels, and I can find my shows. I
Yeah,
mean, these kids now, bro. I don't know if you heard of the brain rot thing. Like they get on Roblox and things like that, and they really like they feel like they're characters sometimes, and they look at us like NPCs. Like we don't really
yeah,
exist. So when we say
yeah,
certain things, they have to really process it. And I'm like, you're in a stuck mindset. You're literally in a virtual world. Like you don't even
yeah,
know you're a real person. That's how I look at it. So with us, people that did live in the real world, now we're having to introduce ourselves over and over and over and over again. I think that's probably our biggest pull, where it's like I want to be funny and get the internet rocking and getting all these views. And I got a couple people in mind. I won't say names, but I got a couple people in mind that when I think about them, I think like, wow, like what are you battling every day? Because
mm,
I see you talking about God on this post, and then I see you making fun of this, and then you talk about your lifestyle. So where are we going? But it's all comedy at the end of the day. It's
yeah,
all you know. They worked up to this point. This wasn't their early stuff. If you go back to their early
yeah,
stuff, they weren't doing that. But now this is what's working. So maybe it's just what works.
yeah,
So just a quick. I love giving verses when I can. And I'm gonna read the whole thing just because it's just for context purpose. So 2 Corinthians 3, and I should have had it written down, but I didn't. It's okay. 3:17. Now the Lord is a spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is present, there's freedom. And we are all, with unveiled faces reflecting the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another, which is from the Lord who is the Spirit. And it follows on to, therefore, since we have this ministry, since we have these podcasts, just as God has shown us mercy, we do not become discouraged. But we have rejected shameful, hidden deeds, not behaving with deceptiveness or distorting the word of God, but by open proclamation of the truth, we commend ourselves to everyone's conscience before God. And it goes on further to say, in verse 5, for we do not proclaim ourselves, but Jesus Christ is Lord, and ourselves as your slaves for Jesus' sake. It talks about shining your light. Let light shine out of darkness. For God who said, let light shine out of darkness, is the one who shine in our hearts to give us the light of the glorious knowledge of God in the face of Christ.
yeah,
Again, we aren't just here. We're here for something. The pathway that he created for us is not bro, you got to move. You got to get out of my way. It's so wide, dog. Like, I'm 5'8", you 6'3". We're so different people, but we go on the same path.
yeah,
We're running like not the same race, but we're moving on at a pace. You might be further ahead, but you're not gonna be like, hey Warren, like I can't stop for you right now, bro. I ain't got time for you. Like I got all these followers, I got all this motion going on. I can't stop and pull you along because I'm not holding you back. I'm not
Yeah.
your family. I'm not the person that's like, I want something from you and I don't have anything to give. Like that's not something that's not what God's telling me to be. Because I
Yeah.
could choose to be that person. I know how to get the internet round up. You know what I mean? I know how to
Yeah.
get people
Exactly.
attention. You know, I know how to make people
Exactly.
mad. I've done that before. You know,
Yeah.
I've caused a stir or two. But that's not what I'm here for. Like I'm really just here to like, hey, let me. I'm a door knocker, if that makes sense. Like I'm not gonna be outside your door, blowing a horn. You know, so I want to come up
Yeah.
and hey man, how's your day going? Sometimes I check on you. Like I really, hey, are you fine? Are you okay?
Yeah.
I know how it feels to come out of these sessions. You have a heavy conversation. You don't just go do what you're gonna do. You still kind of like processing things. Like, man, I just recorded something. I just uploaded something. It's out there in the world. They don't know how many hours I spent editing and the hours of sleep I may have lost, or the fact
Yeah.
that like you said, both of our kids are asleep right now. This is the only reason I'm doing this. You know what I mean? So we just really need to consider why before we just jump into something. And if there's something that's
Yeah.
going to take you away from that stuff, just take a break.
Yeah.
Take a month off. You may not be able to post every week, or you may have to cut up some clips and do, cut those same clips up. We did it as
Purpose.
growing
Yeah.
up. We know we had to do that. We had to ration. You know, what I mean, we had to
Yeah.
make that loaf of bread stretch, boy. You know, so that's kind of where where my mindset is. That's actually where my mindset is right
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's definitely I use that word a lot, balance. I
now.
know
Yeah,
people are like, I don't balance, man. It's hard to find balance, you know what I mean? But it's definitely something that I strive for. It's like, I don't want my kids to be like, well, you wasn't there or you because I know the most important thing I can give them is time, and I I started doing this to be able, if God forbid something happened to me, they can at least see their father. You know what I'm saying? Like impacting the world in whatever capacity. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
and just be like, they could go back on my videos at the very least. You know what I mean? I was like, man, some of us we want to be able to be like, man, I want to create generational wealth and all these things for them. And yeah, that's great, but what do they do with the wealth? You know what I'm saying? Like, and anything I could give them, I speak to their mind, speak to their heart. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. So for me, it's that's definitely creating that healthy balance. I'm I seen something about all the group chats people are in now, and I'm in a whole lot of group chats. I don't even respond a lot of times.
yeah, right,
Not that I don't see them, I just don't respond. It's like I don't want to start no conversation. I don't want to start nothing that to incite because I'm like I don't have the time. I don't have the time. Like, I got videos to edit, and unless I got an editing team, I don't have no editing team. I don't have all of that.
right. They
Um,
probably be
I
like, I
gotta
need
reach out.
one. I can
Yeah,
tell.
exactly. I do need one, of
Yeah,
course.
same.
But I'm not
Right.
there
We
yet.
got hey,
You know what I'm saying? Like
I pay
I'm
for a little
aware of
something
what
now.
I need and where I'm at.
Right.
Like I understand that. I think for people, it's like they try to push certain things on you, man. I remember when I started 2 years ago. You know, everybody was like, "Bro, like you said, from people that know you already, they're like, bro, keep going, da 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 da." They showing support, they liking your stuff. But after the first year, that kind of dwindles down, and you're in this like lonely space where you're not really popping for people that don't know you, and for the people that do know you, they kind of tired of seeing you. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're doing something that's not viral or, it's
Yeah.
just yeah, just looking for views and they can share and all that. They're not really checking for you. You're in this lonely space and you have to be your biggest support. You have to be the person that's like, "Now I'm gonna keep going."
Right.
Oh, I remember I used to get 200 views and then it went down to like 20 views. I was like, "What's going on?" I thought I was shadow banned. I was like, "Man, what's happening?" I went from this space of 200, consistent
What
people
did I change?
supporting.
Okay, what hashtag did I use? Let me make sure I don't use those again.
Exactly. You trying to figure out what's going on with the algorithm. Yeah, the algorithm probably changed, but it's like people are just scrolling past. They don't want to see you. They didn't see you Just talking about the same thing. We don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not reacting to videos. I'm not redoing all
Right.
these things that people could get views or, and yeah, I did a little bit of that and I did a reaction video that thing got almost 500,000 views on it. I'm like, that don't sit right with my spirit.
It's
That
not
don't
even
sit
mine.
right.
It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even that's not my video. I'm just reacting to somebody else's thing. Like I'm just like it's not,
Man.
but I understand people like drama. I understand people like certain, aspects and I'm in a space now where I'm seeing my followers going down. I'm like, how are my followers going down? And my wife always be like, it's just making space for the people that really want to support you. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm
Your
not,
wife.
like I
Your
said,
wife
I'm
is
addicted
say
to the
say
work.
that. What your wife say, man? Say that again. I love that.
She she said that it's making space for the people that really want to follow you, and that's something I totally understand.
I received
But
that.
I got to the space where I'm not looking for the accolades. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it to put the work in. I'm doing it to get the message across to talk to people the world might cast aside and be like, you ain't got no interesting story or, I spoke to a lady, man, and the interview's not up yet. But I spoke to a lady that went through a whole domestic violence situation, and I thought I was interviewing her for something totally different, talk about her career and stuff. And then she's like, I always ask people like, let me know what you want me to highlight in your introduction. And she said that's what she wanted to highlight. And I was like, well, this is gonna be an interesting interview, and
Yeah.
getting her story. She's not no well known person, but I love talking to people that's not well known, that's been through things. Cause I understand everybody's been through something, bro. Everybody. There's not a person on this planet that ain't been through nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not a person. So I
From
understand that.
childbirth.
So for me, yeah, from childbirth, So I understand that and I try to capture that their story and put it out into the world so somebody could gain some type of perspective from what she went through, from what I may have gone through, from what you may have gone through. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just I'm tired of seeing the same people talking about the same things on the internet. The celebrities talking about who they slept with, man, we tired of that, bro. You know what I'm saying? We
Tired.
tired of that.
Tired.
Yeah, you
Tired.
might you might stop and look at it and be like, man, you talking about the same thing.
Because
Like,
I could,
you
because
know,
I could talk about that too. I might not look or give off that type of energy, but I had some
yeah,
situations that I could talk about. I mean, people that are on the internet right now with a big following that I've not necessarily been with, but I know them. Like I
yeah,
remember when they were in college and you know on their. I've seen their path. Guys too who didn't. They started off with a short. You know, excuse me, a smaller version of themselves. I say, where as far as like the maybe they didn't post as much at all, but now
yeah.
they have gained this massive. Well, I'm using some crazy words right now. The small you can't even talk in the internet anymore because everybody got to say pause.
They're gonna be like
But
pause in the comments.
right, right. Whoa, I'm talking
Yeah.
about the video posting. But anyway, man, I just you everything you said was hitting, bro. It's just we got to just be who we got to be. We have to separate ourselves, honestly. Like I don't think
Yeah.
it hits the same if we are just trying to fit in like you said that obviously didn't work. You felt if you wanted to fit in and be a town hat to the leaning to the side type of dude, you could be. You know what I mean? You could really just be that guy if you wanted to. And I know
Man,
some.
everybody that's done something great, they did something different. Like
Mm,
that's just how when Jordan came into the league, yeah, it was another basketball player, but his moves look different, so now everybody's like, man, Jordan is the greatest. Even though there might be players that do things that now where you look like you doing something similar. It don't look as great because we've seen it before. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? We,
yeah.
we look at Steph Curry, he's out of the world shooter. We never seen that before. We've seen shooters before. We ain't never seen a
Oh
Steph
yeah.
Curry type shooter.
And for
Now you
the
see the Trey Youngs, they don't get as much, they don't get as many they're like, you just trying to be like Steph Curry. You know what I mean? But it had to take Steph Curry to do what he did for people to be like, man, that dude great. So what we're doing now is not wide across the internet, but there's going to be a time. Remember, I said this. There's going to be a time where people are going to be discouraged. People are going to be depressed. People are going to be going through all kinds of things in their life where hearing, whatever celebrity talk about, who she slept with or who they slept with or whatever is not going to hit the same, and they're gonna be looking for words of encouragement. They're gonna be looking for conversations like this. They're gonna be looking for real conversations about life, not about who you slept with and what you did last week or all this other stuff people talking about now. So we just ahead of the game. That's how I look at it. We just ahead of our time. We dropping gems. You know what I'm saying? And we just got to continue on that. And as long as it might be at times, we gotta check up on each other because we know what we dealing with. You're like, hey man, you good? You straight? You need anything? You need some support? Whatever. We got to check up on each other, and yeah, that's just what it is, bro. So I don't get discouraged. I just put in the work. I look at the views. I look at the comments. I see what's going on, but I don't pay attention to that. That's not why I do it. Because I know I might not reap the fruit of it. My kids might. They might be like, man, my father, he not even here no more. And look at what's going on with his stuff that he left behind. You know what I'm saying? Look at Martin Luther King. He still has a ripple impact to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like people
Still moving
still look at
forward.
that to this
Yep.
day. Yeah. So he not even here to see what he did. Did he get some glory while he was here? Of course, but just for him to think he probably didn't fathom that people would still be playing his speech, 30, 40 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you just gotta keep going on your journey, put your head down, keep running your race, keep staying on your path. So, you could go to the Father and get your reward. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really, I always think my personal favorite verse is Matthew 6:33. Seek first the
633. Yep.
kingdom of God. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like I heard that, I was like, what does that mean? Seek first the kingdom of God. All these things will be added on to you. Like, man, let me go seek what God told me to do. Like I always say, the person I wanted to be versus who God called me to be is two different people. And I had to choose. Like, and it's still something that I'm learning. Who do God want me to be? It's something I always gotta ask God, what do you want me to do in this situation? You know, Somebody gave me a deal. What do you want me? You want me to take this deal? You want me to
Mm-hmm.
look past it? You want me, what do you want me to do? Is this the right move? And whether it's right or wrong, or he's still gonna figure out a way, If it's wrong, it's not gonna last. If it's right, it's gonna flow real easy. People want to mentor you. People ask, I got a call with a mentor today. She want to help me with my business. This is a lady I interviewed, bro. I didn't know when I was interviewing her, I didn't know this was
Definitely.
gonna come out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She want to help me.
Love
She's
that.
like, I see what you're doing. I don't even do podcasts. I wanted to jump on yours because it looked interesting. It's different. You know what I'm saying? So keep doing what you're doing, bro.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And
Same,
if you
man.
ever
Yes,
get
sir.
discouraged, just holler at me. I'm here for you,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure. Yeah, you ain't got to worry about that. I'm 10 toes right now. Like you said, you were editing earlier. I was editing earlier. I'm actually like putting together like a compilation of veterans that I've had on my show. Not all. I mean, I got a few that I didn't that I'm not gonna put on there. But just to like go back and like things we talked about last year. None of this is new material, but just to kind of see like where was I in that moment? Because I wasn't in the space I'm in now, but I was
Yeah.
able to talk like I am now. And the
Mm.
confidence, wow, the confidence of the past from last year to this year. Not even thinking about the other 2 years, but the years from this year
Yeah.
to now, night and
Yeah,
day.
man.
So yeah,
Same.
let's keep it going. Please before we leave, man, thank y'all for watching. If you got to this point, this is the dope spot. This is Mr. Made Different, aka Frankie, man. Mr. Frankie, can you please leave your handles for the people who are watching, and please y'all follow, y'all subscribe. I'll make sure I include that in this video.
Yeah, you can find me on pretty much all platforms. Mr. Made Different. MR period MAD different. I ain't gonna try to spell different for you right now, but you'll know how to spell different. If
I'll
you
put it
don't,
up on there, bro.
your phone is gonna spell it for you anyway. We got these smartphones that gonna spell it for us. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
Mr. Made Different everywhere, or you can search on my name, Frankie Lubin. You will see me on there, man. So yeah, just follow me. We got the Words of Encouragement podcast on my YouTube page. Dropping
I'm
videos
on that
every
too.
Wednesday.
I'm on one of them.
Yeah,
Checking you
my
out.
boy on there. You know what I'm saying? He was first episode, first interview I dropped actually.
Oh, shit,
Um,
I didn't even realize
so
that.
yeah, yeah. He
Respect,
wasn't the
respect.
first interview I did, but you were the first one
Right.
I dropped. I
On
was
the
like, all right, I'm gonna
platform.
set it off with my boy. You know what I'm saying? So,
No doubt.
yeah, man, I appreciate your presence on there, bro. Got a lot of views on TikTok, and that's why I chop a thing because on
Yeah.
YouTube the video ain't got that much views, but on TikTok, certain clips that I drop got a lot of views, bro. So I
And
appreciate
it's
it, man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure.
Dropping
And
wisdom.
it's all the glory to God because I think the more we're active, the more we're seeing, the more
Yeah,
we people realize like, okay, this ain't just a this is a conglomerate. It's not just a one person doing something. Because the
yeah,
same, like you said, although we may not be like known to the masses, like I know a lot of people. I'm connected to a lot of people who do have hundreds of thousands of followers. Not a lot,
yeah,
but enough, to where I can put something out there, or I can always reach out to these people. It's not like a
yeah,
I gotta feel like I gotta walk on eggshells to go speak to you. I got to actually have a relationship with you. Like I have to,
yeah,
hit you up on your phone, not just like through your DM. I can actually text you directly or call you and say, "Hey, man, let me disrupt your life real quick." I'm not. I don't want nothing from you, but like, I just want
yeah,
to remind you of something, or say, I can actually tell you how much you've meant to me, or I can tell you how much you've grown, and I appreciate you, whatever it may be.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you giving
man.
the encouragement, I'm giving the empowerment. Together, man. We are on this path to our reward, and that's this
Oh
episode.
yeah,
That episode is the pathway to our reward, and that's where we're gonna leave it. It's Jay Wando, it's Frankie Lubin, aka Mr. Made Different. This is the dope spot. We're gonna catch up with y'all soon. Chop this up, get this uploaded. God bless y'all. Peace
God
out.
bless.
Till next time. We
Peace.
out of here.
Yes, sir.